I'm a mum. I'm a runner. I'm a friend. I love to cook. I love to entertain. I like to be by myself. I'm fiercely independent. I'm a real campaigner. I'm a real supporter of women. And I absolutely love leaving my own house. So these last 14 months have been incredibly difficult. Sometimes when I think back, the thought of it makes me emotional. There were days when all I did was sit in front of my screen, and I love my husband. We've been together for 16 years, but I did not sign up to be with him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I adore being a mum, but my ability to be a mother and to contribute to my partnership is because I get my energy from outside of this room and this building in which I live. I am a classic extrovert. I am the person who goes away and has a different experience and returns feeling energized and inspired. I'm not the person who can walk down one flight of stairs and re-enter a situation day after day, week after week, and as it turned out, month after month. And I have literally longed for human contact. I remember speaking to my executive coach in February of 2019 and saying, I'm really, really tired. I've been away from home kind of 3 nights a week. That's a little bit over the boundaries that we agreed and set as a family. It was always kind of 2 nights, 3 days, and then it would be good to come back. And I said, I just hope everything slows down. So one thing I've learned is to be careful what you wish for, because I certainly did not expect it to slow down this much or for this long. I went from going to London. I live in the southwest of England, in a place called Bristol, about an hour and 15 minutes on the train to central London. And I went from doing that journey at least once a fortnight, sometimes once a week. And I think I've been to London 6 times in the last 14 months. And when I go on that train journey, when I sit in that train carriage, in my work outfit, with my work handbag, with my laptop, with my papers, I'm a big fan of stationery, with my notebook, with my diary, I can literally feel as the train goes down the tracks and that very, very familiar rhythm comes of my whole self returning. And this is not about me pretending or becoming someone else. It's about me being my whole self, everything that I am, not one thing that I am. And I have felt over the last period through this pandemic that one bit of me has been accentuated much more than the other. And that's not good. This is about being all of ourselves. What makes us really good, what makes women brilliant friends is that we are multifaceted. What makes brilliant leaders out of women is that we have high levels of emotional intelligence. We have high levels of interest in many different things. And we cannot be and should not be shoehorned. We have the ability to bring so much to the boardroom table, as much as to the bar, as much as to the kitchen table, as much as to the tennis court, the football pitch. We have a great deal to offer. And I am fed up with women being shoehorned into one type of box, because that is what suits. And so when I think about returning to a balance, to holding things in tension rather than being focused on one thing or focused on another, I know that people will ask me questions. People are already asking me questions about how did I cope? How did you cope, Sarah, with not being able to work? I've worked harder in the last 14 months than I have probably in the last 30 years that I have been working. So it's not about how have I coped without being able to work. It's how have I coped without being able to be the whole of myself? How have I coped not being able to see my friends? Most of my friends do not live in the same city as me. And I think that isolation for women has been the worst. And I've thought really, really long and hard about that. And I don't think it's all women, and I don't think all men have had it easy. But I think women have had it much more difficult. And I think that is mainly because people are very quick to make assumptions about women, to leap to decisions about women, more so than they are about men. And nowhere do we see that more than, I believe, in the kind of two ends of the spectrum, when we become mothers and when we become leaders. And actually, when those two things come together, that really freaks people out. They really don't think you can do both of those things. I like to talk about Venn diagrams a lot. And for me, there's a kind of Venn diagram of myself and my home life, and a Venn diagram of my work and my professional life. And then there's a Venn diagram of me and what I like to do. And actually, the best day for me is when I've been for a run in the morning, which is all about me, my headspace, my time, my freedom, my thoughts. When I've had an absolutely brilliant day, when I've engaged with clients, or I've chaired a board meeting, or I've contributed to some decision making, and then I sit and I have supper with my family. And no one of those things is more important, but I firmly believe that I couldn't do one without the other. And actually, it is that sweet spot in the middle where I feel most energized and most who I am. And so when people ask me, how do you have it all, Sarah? I have become much more challenging at asking them if they would ask me that question if I was a man. And then I say, I'm very organized. I have a really supportive partnership, and I'm very determined. And actually, when people ask me that question in a professional setting, I usually refuse to answer it, because I don't feel that I need to account for the fact that I'm a successful businesswoman, a good friend, that I'm married, that I've got a kid. I'm not responsible to explain that to you.